Hi guys, welcome to Chris Ryan Golf. You join me in the Callaway fitting suite here at the Belfry. And in this video, we're going to be looking at the elbows, and we're going to be looking at the distance between the elbows and when that should change in the golf swing. So really simple to start with. The elbows should start pretty close, and at some point the elbows will have a greater distance between them. What we're going to do in this video is look at when that actually happens, and I would often see that there's 3 points in the golf swing where that can happen. And we want to work towards the 4th point, okay? The 4th time that these elbows could move away from each other. Often we see it happening in the first 3. So, what do I mean by that? Well, let's just take a starting position, and we're just going to make a note of the distance between the elbows. So this is certainly not as close as I could get them, because I could sort of round my shoulders, push my elbows in, but we just want to take our normal address position here. Okay, so that would be my normal address position, and we're just going to make a note of how far apart those elbows are. And what we should find is that through the golf swing, that distance is going to remain about the same until almost into the completion of the swing. So what do I mean by that? Well, from here, as we go back and we get into a halfway back position, my elbows are still about the same distance from each other. If I turn this way, as I get to the end of my backswing, my elbows are still about the same distance they were from each other. Turn face on again, up to the top. As we come down, again, you'll notice the elbows are about the same distance. Impact, about the same distance. Follow through, about the same distance. And as we work towards completion, just move around this way, that is when the elbows are going to start to separate. So certainly here, there's greater distance between my elbows than at any point in that golf swing. So that's what we should see in a good golf swing. As I said at the start, there are 3 points in the golf swing where I would often see these elbows start to move away from each other, which is too soon. So the first point, turn this way, would be when we get to the top of our golf swing. So I would often see good starting position, not bad halfway back, and as we get up to the top, we see too much distance between those elbows, okay? Often termed as a flying right elbow, but essentially the distance between them has gone too great. What does that cause? Well, we often see from there, we'd often see the golf club, what we call across the line here. So it points often way right of target, okay? So this right elbow being too far away from the left, in my case, can cause that golf club to point off to the right. We would often see from the front on, that causes this right elbow to get too deep, okay? It often causes a little bit too much overrun in the arms, the hands can travel too far, and it becomes very difficult to sync up the downswing. So that is the first point where the elbows I often see separate too much at the top of the backswing. The second point, the second area where this could happen, let's assume we have got a good position at the top. As we are starting down, I would often see a little bit too much distance between the elbows here. So you can see that the right elbow is sort of maybe a little bit out towards my side. It's not quite as in close as I'd like to see it. So here, we often see the elbows too far apart. What does that cause? Well, that can often cause the golf club to get a little bit steeper. Okay, my elbow moving out tends to sort of rotate my forearms, and that can cause the golf club to get a little bit steep. It would also tend to cause a little bit of an early release. Okay, so we'd often see at this position here, then we get an impact where the handle is too far back. So 2 areas there where the arms may well separate too soon. The third one is through impact. And this is one which many golfers have trouble with. So a good impact we'd want to see sort of here, as we said, elbows relatively close together. Many golfers, maybe it's due to a position up here or down here, whatever that may be, but at the point of contact, we see the elbows far too far apart in here. This is very common. This is going to be really difficult to produce quality strikes consistently. We can often make decent contact, but we often find the ball flight's quite high. We generally don't hit the ball as far as we should, and it's often due to that impact. Now, if it is due to the impact, there's often things that precede that, which can cause that. But what I want you to do following this video is just have a look at those elbows, and even just make some really slow swings, just trying to feel that the distance doesn't change too much. We don't really want to start squeezing them as close together as we can. We just want to be aware of where they are at the setup, and try and feel that we maintain that. So still the same distance, 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 and now they're going to start to separate. So just being aware of how these elbows should function can help, okay? It's obviously a lot easier to do it like that at slow speed. It's a lot more difficult when there's a ball there and you're trying to go at 60, 70, 80, sometimes even 90 miles an hour. But we often see these elbows, at some point, they separate too much, and that can really affect how we deliver this to this, and that can ultimately affect what our shots are like on the golf course. So let me hit a couple of shots for you. I've just got a 6-iron here, just a mid-iron, and I'll try and show you this golf swing from a couple of different angles. Okay, that's pretty good. So I know that in my golf swing, my elbows tend to separate a little bit too much at the top of my swing. I tend to get a little bit too deep with these arms. I tend to get this right elbow, as I say, separating a little bit too much. I know that gives me a few issues in my transition and how I deliver the club to the ball. So it's certainly something I focus on when I can. So I'll just do another one for you. Okay, pretty happy with that one there. So it's often something that people aren't necessarily aware of. They're not certainly looking for it, and they're not sort of trying to feel what they should feel. Good elbow positions, we would see that generally in most good golf swings. If anybody's out there struggling with the game, I would hazard a guess that there is a point in that golf swing where those elbows are too far apart, and if we can improve that, we can hopefully improve the shots that you're hitting, and that's ultimately what every golfer is trying to do, is just improve the quality of the shots and sort of lower the scores as a result. So it may be an area worth looking at. Maybe an area that you haven't really considered before, but you might find there's a few things in there which need a little bit of work, a little bit of attention. If you get a chance to sort of see your swing on video or even slow it down, you may even feel those positions, you may feel the elbows separating too early. So it's a slightly different way of looking at the golf swing, slightly different maybe approach, but I think something there that can help a lot of golfers play some better golf. Okay guys, so thanks for watching the video. There is a like button down there. Please click that if you like the video, that does help me a lot. And if you've got any comments, then you can post those in the boxes down below. I'll do my best to respond to as many as I can. And also please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already. The video is absolutely free. Subscription is absolutely free, so it's well worth doing. It just means that you won't miss any of the content when I upload it. Okay, so thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again next time.